Dude here, and today I want to talk about the coordinate plane. Just a brief introduction. I'll let your teachers work out the problems with you. What happened is this was invented by a guy named René Descartes. His name was Descartes. And he was so prominent, the plane was even named after him, called Cartesian plane. It's the same thing, okay? And how does it start? Rather simply, the old number line. René, funny guy. He decided we'll call this 0. The numbers to the right will be positive. It continues. The numbers to the left will be negative. And then they continue to infinity and negative infinity, right? In both directions. And René used this, and then to find a location in a different place, he needed a y. So as long as you were on x, you were okay, right? We call this the x. As long as the number is here, you just put a dot. So if you wanted -3, you put a dot. If you wanted 2, you put a dot. But what if you wanted a point up here? Now you're going to have a problem. And René worked this out, but he didn't draw another axis. Other people that interpreted his work drew it for him. And they put a line going down this way. We call it y. Now, what we can do is, going up, they decided to make this positive, right? Which makes sense, because if your grades go up, that's positive. And going down, let's make them negative. And it continues forever and ever. Now you can find location of the point. If you pick a point, this is a crude example, you're going to use 2 coordinates to find that point. You need to go in the x direction, and then you need to go up to the y direction. It's that simple. You always start with x first. Anyway, x comes first in the alphabet compared to y. So it's easy to do. So if this point here, which was random, I would say it's between 2 and 3, and it's 5. So that would be 2.5 and 5. That's the location of that point. And there are fancy names for that. I just want to show you really quickly. The whole thing, when you're picking each point, is called a coordinate. What's your coordinate? Okay? And the first one is called this is a fancy word, abscissa. And the second one is called ordinate. Ordinate is easier. But I just say, what's the x position, what's the y? You can use these words. Abscissa, it sounds like something that happens when you get a problem with your tooth. That is that. And the other thing I wanted to show you is, there are 4 sections. They're called quadrants. So this is quadrant 1. And they use a Roman numeral. Do not use Arabic numerals. You have to use a Roman numeral. And the quadrants are going counterclockwise. I never understood why. No one asked me. I would have done it clockwise, but it's too late now. So you're going to have to memorize it. This is quadrant 2. Then keep going to pattern. This one is quadrant 3. These are Roman numerals, remember, and then this one is quadrant 4. And to get to any point, if I go to this point here, you start always at 0, which also is called the origin. Okay? It's called the origin. Where did you start? Right here. We always start right here. How do I get to this point? I go back 3, which is -3, comma, Now I went down 1, which is -1. And that is the location of this point. So when you say, hey, what's your coordinates? You're right there. Okay? That's very important. That was just a little introduction on the coordinate plane. This has been Radical Dude, and I hope I was able to teach you something.